Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Bring this meeting to order. We have roll call, please.
Commissioner Cordell? Here. Commissioner Fowler?
Here.
Commissioner Moore?
Here.
Mayor Black?
Here.
And Commissioner Hay is joining us virtually here this evening, and Commissioner Morton is not well and unable to join us this evening.
Okay, let's bow for invocation. Dear God, our Father in heaven, we thank you for the many blessings that you poured upon our town. Thank you for the quick response of our public works during the snowstorm, southern snowstorm. Thank God for southern snowstorms. Amen. We thank you, Lord, for each and every one that's present here tonight. We pray, God, that all the business that's conducted be in orderly and that we can do your will, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, first item on the agenda is adoption of the agenda. I'll make a motion. We have a motion to adopt it. And a second. All in favor? So carried. All right. Next item on the agenda is comments from attendees. Have anyone signed up?
We have two, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Gary Hamilton's with us here tonight, and also Mr. John Dellinger requested to speak to the board. So, if it pleases the board, we'll have Mr. Hamilton go first, if that's okay.
That's fine. Commissioners, I'm here tonight to talk about my water bill. I got a water bill for $472. Yes, that's one of the expressions I had. I asked for the town to provide me with data from the time I moved here till today, and they did so. I had a few water bills that were high. Those were my fault. I had no problem with that. But the bill before that was $270 some. Mr. Blanton over there cut me a break on it, and I only paid $120 of it, which I was very appreciative of. With the bill this high, he said he could not help me with it, so that's why I'm here tonight with you guys to ask for some interceding somewhere. There's no way in the world that my little household can run 127 gallons of water in a month.
How many gallons?
127 gallons.
So it's in October you were billed 15,000 gallons.
Yes, sir. That was high for me, but I paid.
In December it was 27,000.
Yeah. Well, okay.
And that's what he.
I'm sorry, I misspoke there.
So that's when he corrected that one, right? He
Yes.
put the meter in.
No, sir, Mr. Mayor. We corrected the October and November billing. We noticed during the October 27th billing cycle that the bill seemed unusually high. We replaced the meter at Mr. Hamilton's residence. It was an older meter, so we adjusted the October bill and the November bill, which is typically the policy. If you have a leak, we will adjust 2 months, because the way the billing cycle runs, it bleeds over in between 2 months. So the October and the November bill were adjusted. The December bill, where the 27,220 gallons of water was logged, that was under the new meter that was replaced in November. So that would have been the bill that was due in January. And currently, there is the bill following that was 11,240 gallons.
Okay, that's close to what I've got. You said 11,000. I just read my meter tonight. Yeah, that is a brand new meter that's in there now. Came on somewhere in the middle of December. I don't know what date, but I know when I started on it. But today, as of today, I was running 6,000 gallons of water in almost a month.
Only 6,000.
Yes, which is normally what I run. Between 4 and 7 is what I normally run on water bill. Depends on how much longer we do.
So you don't know of any abnormal water usage that you have?
There is none. There's no leaks in my house.
No leaks?
Absolutely none. There's none under the house, which was because of some of those bills from before. Those have all been repaired, replaced, whatever. those no longer exist. There's no way that water went through my house. It had to be some deficiency in either the meter or the little electronic thing that caused that reading. What it is, I don't know. I do know that new doesn't mean dirty. New doesn't mean it's any good, just mean it ain't dirty yet.
So it's my understanding this is the third meter current that we're on right now. for
Yes.
this resident, right?
Yes,
And all three of them has shown high readings.
That's correct, Mr. Fowler. The one that we replaced was the one that initially logged 15,100 gallons. The first reading on the second new meter was 27,220 gallons. The one that we put in January was 11,240 gallons. And then it was replaced in January. Was that right, Mr. Hamilton? I believe we
December.
replaced it
replaced
in December?
Yep. Somewhere between the
Okay.
16th and the 20th, I don't know when. I went out there one day, and I'm reading it every day. Went out there one day and read it, and it was 400 and some gallons of water. Lose my place. Oh, around the 6th, on the 20th, and it showed 182 gallons of water. So somewhere between the 16th and the 20th, they put the new meter, a brand new meter in again, and that's what it read.
Your house is a single, it's not a duplex, is it?
Oh, no, it's the same. I do have 5 adults in the house, including myself. Unfortunately, I don't bathe every day, all right? Most people in the house do, and that's cool, I have no problem with that. I'm incapable of doing it every day. And it's hard to get dirty when the chair to the bed. But that's not the case anyway. I'm sorry I'm not up to date. I'm a little foggy right now. I'm taking some medication that's messing with me, but I apologize for that. If there's anything you guys can do for me, I would sure appreciate it. And I'm prepared this evening to pay $120 if that's what you want.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hamilton. Where's 120?
Yeah, I got $120 on me right now. You can have it.
I'm sorry. Where are you getting that amount from?
No. I'm saying if you agree to
Oh, you're offering a $120
Yes.
settlement. Okay, I understand. I'm sorry. I apologize.
So, and we've had the Public Works to look at this, and they've not really come,
That's correct, Mr. Mayor. This is a meter profile that Public Works ran. This is the same information that we provided to Mr. Hamilton. Public Works examined the meter on our side October, November, December, and then again in January.
It looked like all three meters were showing high usage, and then it would go to nothing, and then it would show high usage and then nothing over, 2 months, 3 months?
Yes.
Based on the meter
Yes.
profile, yes, sir,
Yes.
Commissioner Powell.
And they actually went under my house and looked to see if there was any leaks under there. There were none. They went through my house and checked all my toilets and everything. No leaks, no faucets dripping, none of that. Okay? Unfortunately, I was a plumber for 50 years. I'm not gonna stand a leak in my house if I know it's there. Okay? And I'm not trying to just beat you out of your money. That's not my deal. Okay? I agree I use water. The question right now is the amount.
Has your neighbor been tapping on your garden hose to his faucet?
No, not of my knowledge. Oh, he didn't tell me he was coming to pay you guys tomorrow.
so we've done all we could do to determine if it was, on us.
Yeah, well, yes, you have, but the new meter that's in there now is just showing about what I use, which I have no problem with. Okay, this one's right. Now, what went wrong with the others, I don't know. We were 8 years on one meter and it finally went bad. so you guys are doing some working around town or something, I'm not sure what was going on, adding some different things, and it screwed my meter up, which gave me a really high reading one month and a really low one month, so you guys came and changed the meter.
Yeah.
Okay, which is fine, I have no problem with that, all right? The next meter showed a little bit more usage, which it's okay, you know, I don't doubt it, all right? But after that, it ran fine for a long time. And then, almost just the last few months, it's just gone stupid on me, which I can't help that, you know?
And how many people was living in the house, before? Was it the same amount of people, or have you
In
received?
and out a couple, one way or the other, okay?
Yeah.
Maybe less, maybe more than what's there now,
Okay.
okay? But other than that, no, it's been about the same, been about the same.
Yeah, I know, I live by myself, and there's only, this runs around, 80.
Yeah,
Months,
yeah.
so. But, the water is not the issue. I think
The sewage is. Well, I noticed there was a building that you finally got the water bill up, the water up to meet the sewage now, so.
Yeah.
What would be an average usage per person? This would definitely be the best answer for that.
Based on the total that's currently outstanding on Mr. Hamilton's
An
account.
average, I'm guessing, I'm trying to get a ballpark figure of gallons per person. I think, Mr. Hamilton, you said there's 5 living there?
Yeah,
Because I'm thinking 6,000 gallons seems a little low for 5 people.
Sure.
It's usually around 2,500 to 3,000
Per person?
per
Yes.
household, and that's usually what we see.
So 6,000 would be on the high side of that.
Yeah, 6,000 is pretty average for the numbers that we see on a daily basis.
when we first moved here, we lived here for probably 5 to 6 years with the same water meter, and we averaged about 3,000 to 4,000 gallons a month was what we used. And that's done in our washing machine 4 or 5 times a week, which my wife did, okay? I don't, but she did. And it's just normal everyday use, because she cooked every day and did all the other, but, well, anywhere from 2,300 to 7,000 gallons is what we used. And the 7 gallons was usually in the summertime, we'd wash a car or two, okay? And so I understood that.
And how many people was that, Mr. Hamilton, that was with the residents at that
At that time,
time?
there was 8 of us,
8.
yeah. Our house was full.
Sure.
It was full. So we had all 4 boys, plus my wife and I, and a relative that was there.
Sure.
So right now, the amount you owe is $477.46.
Yeah, plus the late fee and all that other stuff you're gonna throw on me, which I have a complaint with too. When I was in the hospital in 2019, I didn't get here to pay the water bill. You guys came and shut the water off, which was fine, okay? I felt I wasn't complaining about that. It's gonna make a couple laid off, but anyway, the boys had to do without water for a while, which was probably pretty good. They needed a lesson, okay, in water usage. So I didn't pay the bill. You guys come shut it off. When I came to pay the bill, you guys was charging me $200 and some dollars. $100, $120 about for the water bill, $50 for a reconnect, and a $100 deposit, which was the only way I could, redeem that amount of money that you guys charged me.
So the deposit, you'll get it back though, right?
It never
I'm
showed
not
up
familiar
anywhere.
with what happened in 2019. Mr. Mayor, typically if someone is cut off, they would have to pay the amount that's due plus a $50 reconnect fee. I'm not quite sure
Yeah.
the deposit that
Something
you're
like
referring
that,
to, Mr.
somewhere around
Hamilton.
$50
$50 for reconnect fee, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And Commissioner Fowler, the Assistant Public Works Director just sent me a message saying that it's typical for 1,500 gallons per person per home to be used in a residence.
No way. 1,500?
That's the information my Public Works Department's sending, Mr. Hamilton, yes.
Okay.
So is this $477, does that include a $50 reconnect?
No.
It was never cut off,
No,
right?
never cut off.
Okay.
He has an
Because
extension.
You called before that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Mr. Hamilton has an extension on the past due December bill, which will not make that payment due until the 15th of this month. and then the current bill would be the $221.46. The past due and the current bill will be
I have a
doing.
problem with that $221. Where did that come from?
That is based on
That's the new
the.
bill coming out?
No, this is for the 11,240 gallons that was read during the January reading.
So this would be due February 15th.
That would be the February bill for the January usage. Or for the December 10th, 15th through January 10th, 15th reading.
So total, you're looking at almost $1,100 right under.
No, total we're looking at 4, 5, 6, around 700.
Yeah, right under 700.
Ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. I don't have that much money.
Did Mr. Glenn offer to put you on a payment plan?
I think I'm on one, aren't I?
You haven't
No,
ex-
I'm on an extension right now. We don't discuss payment plan.
A payment plan would certainly be an option. We do offer payment plans of up to 4 installments for the past due amount, which would be the $477. The $221.46 would be the current bill. So the current bill would have to be paid as well as each payment of the installments on the payment plan. So in essence, we would divide 477 by 4, give 4 months for those payments, and each month the current bill would have to be kept current under the payment plan policy.
Can you pay the $221.46?
Yeah,
Okay.
Can we do a 6-month payment plan or a 6 payment?
If the board is agreeable to that, typically our standard policy is 4 months, but if the board is agreeable to a longer payment plan, that would certainly be at the option and discretion of you all.
Because that would come out to $79.57 a month in addition to each bill.
If you can get the $221.46 paid, when is that due by?
The 15th.
15th?
15th before the $5 late fee goes on, and then the 5 o'clock before the 25th to avoid disconnection.
Disconnects.
Did, Mr. Hamilton, did you call before the 15th was up?
oh, yes.
Okay, so this
Yeah.
course does not include a $5 late fee.
Well, Mr. Hamilton,
No, it doesn't.
if you'll take care of the $221.46, I'll check, I've got an individual, and he may be able to help you out. He's always told me if I ever run a situation like this, to contact him. So
Okay,
I'll contact him and see what he can do about that, okay? And then, what's your water rate, okay?
I've
Keep
been
eye
watching.
on it. Keep
I've
eye
been
on it.
watching.
Watch it ever, like you're doing now,
Yeah.
to see if it spikes,
Yeah.
and you're not really,
Right, well, that's why I'm here.
losing water, and then let us know, you know, if you see a spike, and you're saying, look, we're using the same amount of water. But, there's a good possibility that those, meters might have been bad.
Yeah, well, I was told a lot of things that were brand new that weren't any good.
Okay,
But if you look back over my bill, there's rarely that I run over $7,000 a month. That's high,
okay.
okay?
Well, we'll see what we can do for you on that. I'll get in touch with Jonathan and get that cleared up, and then, and you get the $221.46 before the 15th, Tuesday, right?
Okay,
Okay,
I'll be here tomorrow.
all right. Is everybody agreeable with that, the board?
Well, I wanna actually ask, is there any fees on these at all, or is this just what usage fees?
If I'm not mistaken, the $477.46 does have a $5 late fee added to it, because I believe we discussed that prior to disconnection on the 25th. I don't believe it was the 15th. I believe it was to avoid disconnection.
I don't remember.
I believe it was after the 15th, because we had noted your account when we were looking at cutoffs or accounts that could be subject to cutoff. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the $477.46 would have a $5 late fee on it.
I think that it may be prudent that in the case of a contingency, if the money doesn't come through, that we vote to, I guess I'll put in, I'd like to make a motion to split the past due amount into a 6-month payment plan. And allow Mr. Hamilton to pay a little bit at a time.
In the event that the mayor is not able to secure the funds. Okay.
Okay.
That way we can just get it
second for that 6 months payment plan?
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor of the 6 month payment plan?
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton.
Excuse me.
Ms. Boone.
I would like to pay for it more than, first month's payment plan, $79.
All right, you can see me after the meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Next item on the agenda.
Mr. Dellinger is here to speak. He signed up for the agenda tonight, Mr. Mayor.
That's right. Mr. Dellinger, come on up, Mr. Dellinger.
You've
Which
got
one?
two of us out here. Let's have two of us on the agenda.
Sure, absolutely. In whatever order you two would prefer.
You want to speak first?
No, you can go ahead.
First of all, I want to thank the board for allowing me to be here today to speak amongst you people. My name is Tommy Dellinger. This is my father, John Dellinger, and I was born and raised in Ranlo. Brought into this world in 1969 by my father and dad. Thank God for blessing me with one family. First of all, I want to speak about is when I was a child growing up in this town. You could look around all in my neighborhood where I lived at, and everybody had chickens. Owned chickens. Old man Gilbert up on top of the hill right across from Ranlo Baptist Church, he had horses and a mule. And he used that old mule to plow his garden and all that. And I remember as a kid, right there beside the Ranlo Baptist Church, they were eating hog pens there. People owned hogs back then. Now, I remember as a child walking up to Spencer Avenue, up top of the hill, going, you had your laundromat and you had the old grocery store there. And in that grocery store, they sold pig groceries, they sold horse feed, cow feed, rabbit feed, chicken feed, you name it, they sold it. You bought everything there. Now, the thing I'm asking is, I don't know when this ordinance was passed about chickens, about the limit of the land. First of all, is it okay with the board? I'd like to pass this around here if you don't mind. What you see here is the chicken pen that I own at our address at 2600 East Spencer Avenue. And what you see there is the acreage of two lots that my father owns there. And last time I checked, an acre is 43,560 feet. Right now, if you look at those, we've got 15,000 square feet and another 14,000 square feet on the other lot. And it's around 29,800 square feet. All right, tell me what's changed in the time of back when I was a child coming up. People in my neighborhood with those same amount of lots, everybody had chickens back in those days when I came up. And the reason why I'm here standing fighting for this today is because I'm a single parent, and I've been raising my daughter since she was 10 months old. And I moved away, got married, lived in Vesper City for 8 years, and I had my daughter. And we finally moved in with my folks when she was 4 years old. And I hear the rooster crowing, and I'm gonna tell you something about roosters crowing. My rooster crows.
Silence your phone, please.
My rooster crows 3 times a day. 1 when I step out the door and go to work, and 2 when I come home from work, and 3 when it's time to go to bed. I got 1 rooster and 10 hens. And the reason why I'm here today is because, like I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, I'm a single parent. I was raising my daughter since she was 10 months old. We moved into my parents' house when she was 4.
Can you stop that, or I'll have to have you removed?
Can I say something after he's
No.
done? I
Are you
apologize, I didn't sign up.
He and I met yesterday with this gentleman, and he indicated he may wish to speak tonight when it came to the issue with Miss Clary. He is a resident on North 2nd Street. So Mr. Irwin, I'm sorry.
Engel?
Engel, I'm sorry,
You'll
Mr.
have
Engel.
your chance,
I understand.
but would you please keep your phone silent?
I was just proving a point, sir, at the end, you'll understand my point.
Sure, and if it's okay with the board, Mr. Engel can speak under the first order of old business under the continued discussion on fowl and livestock. That would directly pertain to the matter of which Mr. Engel is here this evening.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Sir, this has nothing to do with you, sir. This is a different situation than what you're doing. This has nothing to do with his situation.
Yes, sir, but you're really
It's just
interrupting
order.
me.
I understand. I understand.
You'll get your chance, okay?
Thank
Let
you.
him have his chance,
Thank
right?
you.
Thank you, for taking care of it. Like I want to say again, when I moved to my folks' home, my daughter was 4 years old. And when we lived in Bessemer City, she always bugged me about wanting to have chickens. And you gotta look, my daughter, it's been just me, it's just been me and her until we moved into my folks. Her mom this past Christmas was the first time my daughter had seen her mom in 5 years. This coming April, it'll be 6 years since my daughter seen her mom on her birthday. Now, one reason why I got this is my daughter was at Tractor Supply, and her birthday was coming up, and she goes, Mama, Daddy, I want some chicken. I said, well, you have to run that by Pawpaw. He's the head of the house. And when we come home, she runs into the house, and my mom's carrying stuff in from Tractor Supply. Before we even get to the door, she come run out the front door. Dad, Pawpaw said I can have the chickens. And I dropped the groceries right there on the ground because I was shocked. Really shocked. But he knows what my daughter's been going through emotionally. Because my daughter, she's been seeking counseling because all this stuff that's been going on with the lack of a mother. Her mother is her grandmother.
Yeah.
All right? And I got her these chickens. Now, the zone I'm in, by the y'all standards here, I don't know when this ordinance was passed. Okay?
It was in 2003. Mr.
2003,
Benjamin. Yes,
right?
sir.
I'm in that zone, you can't have chickens. But you know what? People had chickens in that zone when I was growing up. So what has changed from back then to now? You know what I'm saying? I know you might, I'm gonna tell you something. Roosters, if you read about them, they usually crow in the evenings, crow in the afternoons, and the mornings. And my chicken, he's like clockwork, every close 3 times a day. Now, the one thing I like to address here is are you in favor, I did a survey, are you in favor of people backyard, are you in favor of backyard chickens around? Yes, I'm in favor, because that's the way how it used to be. I don't know what changed. Then another question, how many chickens you feel is reasonable to allow to have? How many should be allowed to have? Is how many can your coop handle? But the other thing is, you see those pictures I passed around with you about that coop, right? That coop there can hold 14 chickens. It's got 10 hens and 1 rooster in it. And they're penned up and fenced in. Now here's another question to the board. If you have someone that owns a chicken, right, and they're not cooped up and fenced up for the walking in range, and they're out running around their yard and their neighbor's yard and all that, you know who the town needs to focus on? Those that's got their chickens running loose. Not the ones that's doing the right thing, that's got their chickens penned up, fenced in with a fenced in range, and acreage shouldn't matter if they got how many chickens they should have, or should they be allowed to have, right? Because you see how big that pen is? It's no bigger than a dog pen. Remember back then when I was a kid growing up, dogs used to run around town around loose until they town around came up what? The leash law, didn't
Used to.
they? Huh?
They still run.
Still do, yeah, but not as bad.
Not as bad.
Yeah, not as bad. You gotta admit, there used to be a dog around the whole neighborhood like crazy. But then they town around and came up with the leash law ordinance, right? And you had to have your dogs penned up or chained up, one or the other. So, tell me now, board, what has changed when I was a child growing up until 2003? Because there used to be I could walk up my whole neighborhood, Spencer Avenue, and up on there where Mr. Gilbert used to live, where he had all the horses and donkeys and all that, and everybody up there had chickens when I was a child. And I could walk up to the grocery store, go in there and buy chicken feed if I wanted, horse feed, donkey feed. Now you tell me what's changed this time of day that make where I have to be. One, this acres thing, it's taking away my daughter's rights to have chickens. Because you're saying, okay, you don't have 3 acres or more. You're not allowed to have chickens. Well, you just took away her rights to own chickens.
See, So you're saying the chickens are therapeutic?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Because of what all she's been, that's why I'm here fighting, because she can't stand up here and fight for herself.
That would be devastating to her.
Yes, it would, because she's been through a lot already. I understand this gentleman may have his own problem, right? But you know what? That's up to the town to address that issue, whatever that problem may be, what that neighbor has with their chickens and all that. But if that man is not used to hearing roosters crow, roosters gonna crow. They're gonna crow in the morning, they're gonna crow in the afternoon, and crow in the evening. It's in their nature. You know, we have one rooster, you know what that main rooster's job is there? Is to defend those hens. When another predatory critter comes in there, if a snake was to happen to come in that pen, you know what that rooster's gonna do for that hen? He's gonna kill that snake. He's gonna defend his hens. Just like a man, if a man breaks into your home, what are you gonna do? You're gonna defend your wife, your children, right? That's what that rooster's doing. If a critter gets in that can coop, that rooster's gonna defend those hens. He's doing what's in his nature. He's taking care of his family right there. 10 hens. Now I want you to know, my daughter, she raised them hens and that rooster up when they were little bitty ditties in the house in a big old horse trough tub with a heat lamp. And we raised them up from little bitty babies.
And at that point, you didn't know they was a.
No, I didn't. I didn't know there was an ordinance law.
Town around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Until I just found out, till I saw this, and then I got to checking into it, and I found out I was in the zone that couldn't have chickens. And that's what puzzled me when I was growing up as a child myself. Everybody had chickens in my neighborhood.
Okay, you want to let Johnny speak also?
Oh, he's already said about
Yeah, he did.
and all, but, I live down there and was raised down there, right below Glen. I bought the old Rose place and built a house and everything. And it's definitely not like it used to be, because they even had hog pens. They raised their own hogs. Because I remember having my rear end worked off one Saturday where we done 5 of them. And it was more than one family doing it. But you take somebody to help bring the mayor into this world, he used to have chickens. He might still do, I don't know. But they roosted in an old tree that we call the whipping willow. They would roost just right outside our window we slept. And we got used to them. But they can be a habit. The ones we got, and I told my granddaughter that she was responsible for them and stuff. And I've also told my wife and my son that they don't get let run free. If they get out, they gotta be put back. And that's the way it stands. And actually, God didn't really need me, because the place in the long run wouldn't belong to Malvern here.
All right.
And, the only thing you might.
and we appreciate y'all letting us come up and saying our little piece.
All right.
And I've been trying to meet this guy for about a year now.
All I'm asking, guys, I really wanna break my daughter's heart.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't aware of the ordinance. You know what I'm saying? So,
Well, I really feel like your cage could be a model cage of what we would want to have if we did allow
even
chickens.
somebody
to
didn't wanna
be-
buy that, right? They can build them a coop out of plywood and put a fence, a fence walking range and put a roof over it. Yeah.
I know your chickens are, across the street from me, and I'm very faintly hear your rooster. I mean, I hear more dogs barking than I hear rooster crowing. So.
Well, actually, in the summertime, the building has linoleum in the floor,
We'll keep the chicks in there. They don't remember the egg.
that linoleum is cleaned once a month where they ain't gonna be no
We
snake.
put linoleum down in the coop, so that when it makes the cleaning the coop a lot easier, because we put the chips on top of the linoleum, and then all we gotta do is break the chips out, we turn that into compost, and pull the linoleum out, and clean that linoleum.
Goes in your garden.
Yeah, goes in my yard, because you look down on where I live at, you'll see clover. The only thing you really gotta worry about roaming loose in our neighbor's yard and my yard is the deer.
And we have a good many of them.
Yeah.
I've had a flock of birds land in my pecan tree that's louder than your rooster ever thought of me. And messier too.
But he crows like clockwork. When I leave the door, I
We-
leave the work.
we
he'll
thank
crow.
you.
Every
We
morning.
thank
He's
you.
saying hi to me, inviting me on the way to work. He says hi to me when I come back from work. But yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for your
Thank you
input.
guys, and gentlemen elect for allowing us to speak. I appreciate that very much.
And we have a planning board.
Do we need
Week
to
from,
be
1 week
planning
from
board?
today.
It's on
Just missed
6. Is it 6 or 7?
It's at 7 as well.
7 o'clock.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Planning board, 7
Do
o'clock
we need
next
to be-
Thursday.
Do we need to be at the planning board?
It would be, you could come and just hear.
Okay.
I don't know if you can speak, but you
Okay.
can come and listen.
All I'm asking,
Okay.
don't restrict the acreage on us.
Okay.
While we're
My
here,
daughter's well being for mental health.
whoever has to
Okay.
put us down as being at that meeting, go ahead and put
I'll
both
make a
of
note
us
of it.
down.
Mr. Dallinger, absolutely. I'll make a note of it right now.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Mr. Dallinger, thanks for being here.
All right, next, gentlemen, you want to come and speak? Give me your name.
Sure, Brian Engel. Guys, can you stay for a minute?
Yeah, what's that?
Guys, first of all, I apologize for my stuff earlier. My situation is not his situation. I love this guy. This is how it's supposed to be. My situation is I have a neighbor that lets them run free. I have 2 roosters that like to camp out outside the bedroom window. I understand. I grew up on a dairy farm, 150 head of cattle, milk them every day, twice a day. I love animals, and I'm an outdoor guy. This is the way it's supposed to be. My situation ain't like that. I'm looking for the ones that are breaking the rules, not having the coop, not having the chickens taken care of. Across the street, don't hear the chicken. I get that. But what if he's underneath your bedroom window every day, sir? That's what I'm trying to get. Fix your coop. Somebody manage that. Who's watching over that? His coop model. That's what's the standard. If you don't meet that standard, you're not in compliance. That's what we're looking for here today. Not to get rid of the girl's chicken. Absolutely not. I'll fight with you to the end. That's not the point. I'm looking out for the ones that are breaking the rules.
Right.
That's what this meeting to me is about. Jonathan knows my heart, he's been to my house, he knows the situation, so that's why I'm standing here.
Okay.
As a victim, he's a victim in a different situation, you know, the same thing, but in a different way. We're all victims. Let's fix the problem, you know, let's correct it so we can all get along. That's all. I have no problem with the chickens running around. I love chickens. But, you know, when they're free ranging, they become evasive. Yes, sir? Evasive. I spent a lot of money. My son bought his house, first house. Spent a lot of money landscaping. Wake up in the morning, completely trashed. I spent an hour, $150 in mulch. Now my mulch is all over the sidewalk, all the underneath garments, all picked up, all the plastic. So, you know, what can I do? You know, so we're going through the process.
Now, was it the chickens or the squirrels?
Absolutely. Chickens, I have videos. I have plenty of videos, sir,
All right.
of the chickens. Absolutely. You know, so, you know, that's what I'm here. I didn't mean to disrespect you earlier. I didn't mean that. Please believe that. He knows my heart. So, you know, that's all I gotta say. Let's get the guys that are breaking the rules.
Okay. All right.
That, like you said, the 3 acres, no, you know, that's a lot.
Yeah.
3 acres is a lot. That's a lot of land, but you can manage what you wanna do in less than that. as long as it's done right.
Yeah.
There's a right way and a wrong way to do things in life. Chickens are a staple. Eggs, I live off the eggs.
Yeah.
I deer hunt, live off the meat. I'm a, that type of person. Minimalist. We're living the farm life the best we can. So I'm up for him. So let's get the ones that are breaking the rules, not the ones that are trying to, enjoy life.
And you live on
Second Street.
Second
Yes, sir.
Street, okay. All right, thank you very much
Thank
for
you
your
for your
input.
time. Absolutely. Guys, good luck to you.
Thank you,
I'll be
sir.
on your side. Absolutely.
All right, next item on the agenda is the approval of our January 13th monthly meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor? So carried. Next item is continued discussion on the fowl and livestock.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, and this agenda item is devoted specifically to what Mr. Engel is referring to. Back at the December meeting, Ms. Evelyn Clary appeared before the board and requested lenience and some type of resolution to resolve the problem that she had in regards to the code enforcement department. Neighbors had complained to the town that Ms. Clary had free-ranging chickens, that she had multiple roosters, and that they were causing a nuisance in the neighborhood on 2nd Street. We investigated and determined that to be the case late last fall. Afterwards, Ms. Clary was given notice that she needed to have her chickens removed, a similar practice that we had engaged on numerous residents throughout the town. Ms. Clary was upset with the letter contesting it and came to the board. At that time, we discussed the option of having a revised livestock ordinance put into place, hence why the surveys went out in the utility bills, hence why I think we're having the majority of this conversation here this evening. Ms. Clary was directed at that time by the board to ensure that her chickens were kept up, that they were kept in a coop until such time that we were able to look at revising the ordinance potentially. As Mr. Engel stated, and as other neighbors I've spoken to on 2nd Street have indicated, that is not the case. I've been out there numerous times over the past 2 weeks. There are multiple chickens free-ranging any time of the day, night. The video that Mr. Engel provided was also provided to me. I also went and recorded similar video all times of the day and night with the roosters crowing and the chickens free roaming. I think that we're confusing the two issues here tonight. The first issue is Ms. Clary would not be in compliance even if we did revise the ordinance. There would not be reasonable to believe that we would allow free-ranging chickens or multiple roosters in a way that Ms. Clary is allowing her chickens and roosters to roam. I sent Ms. Clary notice that this issue would be before the board tonight. I told her that there may be a decision made by the commissioners tonight, and if so, a decision was made, that it would be final and binding. As you can see, Ms. Clary is not here this evening, but I would strongly recommend that the board take under consideration Mr. Engel's comments tonight, the photographs and videos that I forwarded to all of you that have been shared by the neighbors that I've captured myself, and direct her that those chickens need to be removed, and the roosters as well. I mean, it's in direct violation with our animal control ordinance. Number one, it's unlawful to have chickens, roosters running at large within the town, irrelevant of whether you have 3 acres or not. And number two, Ms. Clary is on less than 2/10 of an acre at the end of 2nd Street, and it is creating an undue burden and nuisance to the neighbor in this neighborhood. So I wanted to bring this to the board tonight. I'll be glad to answer any questions, but I would like to request some type of decision action to be made in order to give these neighbors some relief.
If I may, I'd like to say that, what somebody does on their own property is no concern to me until it hurts me. And in this particular case, it is hurting the neighbors. So I believe that we should resume action on free-ranging chickens while the planning board continues their consideration of a revised ordinance.
So we're looking at asking her to remove the chickens completely or put them in a cage?
Well, you tried that last meeting,
Yeah,
she just put him in a cage.
Put them in a cage.
I had the feeling that she was
We heard that.
totally disrespectful.
I think you offered to help her build a cage.
Yeah, absolutely. They got to the point where she wasn't even making the effort to go forward. So at that point, I'm not gonna make the effort either. I have the skills, the ability, the supplies, no problems. I'd love to see it, but again, the effort is not there.
I think that under the current ordinance, we have the authority to seize them if they are not on her property, right?
That is correct, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. Yes, ma'am.
And I'd have to disagree a little bit with Mr. Dellinger. The size of the lot does matter. If you have neighbors, she has more neighbors than you guys have around y'all, and she has a lot less land. So I do think that those chickens are a nuisance, even if she was to keep them in a coop, even to his size with the rooster. And if you're not gonna make the coop adequate, you're not gonna clean the coop when you have it. So then you're gonna have a smell, and it's just gonna be a nuisance to your neighbors. So at that point, I would have to say that she'd have to do it.
So, are we gonna send the public works down there to retrieve the chickens, and then what are we gonna do with them?
My recommendation would be send official notice to Ms. Clary, giving her 10 days to have the livestock removed. If she does not comply, move forward with a tiered fine system, tiered fine on the property, cite her for having the chickens up to and including $500 a day that she is not in compliance. I hope that would get her attention, because in all honesty and frankness, she has not taken any of these letters, any of these conversations seriously. She falls to the guys that she's grandfathered in because she's been a resident of Ranlo prior to the incorporation of Ranlo. It has been a difficult situation, difficult conversations that we've had with Ms. Clary, but she clearly is not taking us seriously, given the fact that the board did give her a reprieve in December for time to get the situation under control. And as of I was out there yesterday, the situation still has not been rectified and remedied. So I would recommend that there would be a 10-day notice, and then evaluate the situation
She's
from
also
there.
opening herself up for a civil suit from your neighbor, because, I mean, the chickens are causing financial burden on their own personal property. I mean, they can seek legal action themselves. But if it was citizen Jamie Fowler, there would be no chickens at one time in my yard.
Do you want a motion?
Please, Madam Mayor Pro Tem.
I'll make a motion that we rescind enforcement on the free range of chickens.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
If I may say something, y'all already voted, but Mayor, if I may say something,
Go ahead.
Paul Mackham ran a drink shop and stuff in the house where Reefer lives right now.
Yeah.
When we were coming up and everything. And he sat in the back door, and when the chickens come over and got in the garden, they didn't go nowhere else.
All right, I appreciate that.
And one
Okay.
thing I like to ask about Mr. Fowler about the acres and all that. So you're saying that we only got 29,817 square feet. So you're saying I don't have enough square footage to have chickens?
No, I'm saying it doesn't matter. You take very good care of your chickens. But my point to that was, if you have someone who's not taking care of their chickens,
Yeah.
the size of that lot matters.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The smell and everything. Like you said, you had a noise in there, you cleaned it up.
Yeah, we cleaned it.
I grew up with chickens. I had 1,000 chickens on my property, so I know how to take care of them.
So you know what I'm
So,
talking about.
yeah, I know
huh?
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I don't think that a citizen that's gonna do it responsibly should be should be told no because of another citizen's laziness, in a sense.
Right.
However, the size of the lot does matter when you have those.
Yes, I see where you're coming from there.
She's got way more neighbors than you have, like 6 or 7 or 8, and they're just running them up.
Yeah, that's not.
So-
That's just from here to that wall, that's between the houses. That's it.
Exactly.
That's
I
her
mean,
fault.
it's a little different situation.
She should have took advantage of the situation when the neighbor offered to help make
Exactly.
a fenced walking range for the chickens, and she should have jumped all over that, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I
All
thought.
right, I think we've got the foul
Thank you, sir. Thank you for allowing me to say.
Thank you.
straightened out here, okay. New business. Auditor's report on the fiscal year 2021 budget.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I appreciate the opportunity to, first of all, to serve as your auditor. I always do. You know, I serve at your pleasure. anytime y'all have questions, concerns whatsoever is about, you know, the audit itself, about finances in general, whatever, please feel free to give me a call. I know Jonathan, you know, questions come up, you'll shoot me an email or whatever, so we want to be an asset for you or whatever as far as finances are concerned. The second thing to always point out to all my accounts, with pages 3 through 12 of your audit report, is what's called management discussion and analysis. The reason I always point that out to all the councils that I deal with is if you have constituents who are concerned or questions about the finances of the town, that's a good place to point them to, because your audit report is a public document. Anybody can come up and request a copy of it or whatever. And so hopefully that, you know, tells a little bit about where the town's been, where it was this past year, even a little bit about what you're going in the future and whatever. Hopefully that might answer a lot of their questions that they might have. You did receive an unqualified, a clean opinion, which is, as your auditor, what you want me to be able to stand up there and say, which basically means that those financial statements that you have in front of you do fairly represent the books and records of the town of Ranlo for the year ending June 30th, 2021. With that having been said, I gave you a little cheat sheet, as I always do, just kind of comparing this year to prior year. Tremendous change between the 2 years, and it all can be pointed to really just a couple items or whatever. You see bottom line, $182,000 positive balance versus $641,000 negative balance the prior year. But if you remember, and we're gonna see later on down through there, y'all purchased the 2 garbage trucks the previous year. A lot of capital outlay went into that prior year or whatever. As far as the various income items coming in, ad valorem up a little bit. Local option sales tax was your biggest increase or whatever, and I like to point to that because that's driven by the economy or whatever. So as your local option sales tax continues to increase, that tends to indicate that your economy is doing really well. Refuse collection up. So total revenues are up about $195,000 over where, and you see there again, total expenditures down $513,000 from the previous year. That primarily had to do with capital outlay, primarily the 2 garbage trucks that were purchased in the prior year, whatever, that you didn't have. And as you look down through there, you see that Public Works, there were some equipment, vehicles, I think, that were purchased the prior year that you didn't have. Sanitation, you see down $288,000, and that pretty much had to do with the garbage trucks. Parks, the same thing. You were kind of finishing up the park project or whatever, so it didn't have quite as much in it as far as fixed assets and stuff. So your unrestricted cash position is still right at $800,000, unassigned fund balance of almost $600,000. Unassigned fund balance 26% the way that I calculate it. Now you're going to see here in just a second when I talk about something else that apparently the state treasurer's office calculates it a little bit different than what I do. Ad valorem collection rate 97%, which is still above what the state average for a town your size. Water and sewer, total revenues increased $93,000, total expenditures down $38,000. You see bottom line, still at a negative balance, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit here, but a lot better than it was the previous year, and total unrestricted cash about $660,000. Now, anybody have any questions kind of concerning that? Because then I want to talk to you about 2 changes that the state treasurer's office made this past year. One, you would not even have noticed or whatever, because actually up until this year, the auditor was not required to present to a board. And what the state treasurer's office was finding out was that in a lot of cases when issues would come up, especially with smaller towns, one of the first things that a lot of times the commissioners or somebody would say was, well, our auditor hadn't said anything to us about this or whatever. So part of the contract this year was that I had to present to you, which I think is a really good thing. Like I said, we've been doing that anyway. I just think it's a good policy to be able to stand in front of you and explain anything, hopefully, that you might have. The second thing And the issue behind this is the state treasurer's office has about half the staff that they had about 5 years ago. Because of budget cuts and various things or whatever, so they cannot review these financials the way that they used to. They kind of used to go to them with a fine tooth comb, and y'all would get letters, what's this about, what's that about, kind of thing, or whatever. Well, beginning 2 years ago, they said, okay, we got to come up with another system to kind of evaluate what's going on here with towns. So when we submit an audit report now, they've come up with a matrix where we put the information in from the audit itself or whatever, and then based on what they feel like are certain performance areas or whatever, then it automatically kicks out some information, which is what you have in these other 5 pages that I've attached this year. So it's really good reading in the fact of, it tells you exactly what the state treasurer feels like is average for a town your size, what they expect, what the minimum that they expect for a town your size or whatever, and where they look at water sewer, where they look at the general fund, these kind of things. So it's really good reading from that standpoint. So it creates what they call performance indicators of concern. And like I said, I'll just give you the first example there. It talks about your available fund balance or whatever, you know. I said 26%, well, they calculate 35% compared to the like I said, I'm not exactly sure how they did. But where you see your unit results right there, if there was an area of concern there, let's say that was 26% or whatever, and they expect you to have at least 34% or whatever, it would have been red. And the other change that they made was, if there's a situation where there's a concern, the other thing that they were hearing from small towns and stuff was, you know, and they used to send out what they called white letters, which would say, okay, you know, issues here, what are y'all gonna do about it? Well, a lot of times the town manager, the mayor, whoever may have come up with an explanation, here's what we're gonna do, and sign off of it and send it in. And, you know, then something come up later and the other council members were going, well, we didn't know anything about this or whatever. So that was another area of concern. So what they decided to do is, if there's performance indicators, within 60 days, and I'm gonna get with Jonathan, because we do have one issue that we need to handle. Within 60 days of my presentation here tonight, you're expected to have a response, okay, as to how we're gonna handle this area of concern here. This is where the town's gonna go forward with. And the other change that they made is each council member will have to sign off on that before it's submitted in, so that nobody can say, well, I didn't know anything about this,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Similar to the letters that we had to send in regards to the exceptions over the last 3-4 audits that came to the board for adoption ratification.
Exactly. And-
Question,
Yes.
so when they're looking at all this,
Mhm.
do they consider debt service, a town that, you know, has low debt service? I mean, is that not a plus?
Yeah,
Is that not
and it is, and I
weighing in
think-
on their decisions?
And I think that's why, like I said, you know, when I look at, fund balance available compared to prior year expenditures, I just take the total prior year's expenditures, and that's why I come up with the 26%. But apparently, what they do is they look at well, if you had capital outlay or something that they don't expect you to do in the next year, okay, we'll go. And if you've got debt service or whatever, they take that into consideration or whatever when they do some of these calculations or whatever. Now, the one issue that you see on the second page has to do with operating net income for the water sewer fund. And basically, we were at a negative 110, when you went to full accrual depreciation and everything, we were at a negative $110,000 or whatever. So, sometime within the next 60 days, as a board, y'all will have to say, okay, here's what we plan on doing in the future, or whatever, to help alleviate this problem. We're gonna show a bottom line that not only includes our current costs, but also is gonna include something that will handle depreciation in the future, kind of thing. And I will get with Jonathan on that, and I'll be, once y'all kind of come up with, here's our plan
Right.
going forward, let me, you know, shoot it to me,
Sure.
I'll look at it and say,
Sure.
okay, I think this is gonna satisfy them or whatever. And at that point, yeah,
So this was the year that we made small adjustments, and then in July, so this current fiscal year, we made much larger adjustments. to
Right.
actually
Yeah.
bring in-
Right.
So-
The explanation that we will likely get is similar to what we gave to the last letter we got from the LGC, that we had went up between 10 to 13% on water sewer rates, and we project that we will have a surplus in the utility water sewer
that's,
fund
that's
at the end of
exactly
fiscal year
what they're gonna
22.
want here. I'll go ahead and tell you that right now. You know, and I think they will appreciate the fact that you've already, in the current year, already doing that or whatever. So anyway, like I said, I'll be in touch with Jonathan once we come up with an explanation that I think will, you know, will satisfy what. Then there's actually, once y'all signed off on it and everything, there's actually a portal that you scan it and submit it in to the state treasurer's office or whatever, so. So, with that having been said, anybody have any questions? And like I said, I think this is really, you know, that's the only one issue. There is one other little red thing, but that had to do with, segregation of duties and, expertise and kind of thing. And both of the state treasurer's office come back later and said, don't worry about responding to that, cause it's 90% of every small town in North Carolina. And they're trying to figure out how they don't have to do any more stuff, and, cause they're actually mostly working from home right now. But anyway, but like I said, I think those are, it's some good reading for you, because it will help you to understand, look, this is, you know, this is how we've been evaluated by the treasurer's office as far as the towns, you know, a town our size is concerned. It gives you some minimum threshold, it gives you average thresholds for the rate, and it tells you where you're at, so you can look at and compare that.
Eddie, do you happen to remember what unassigned fund balance was last year?
The prior year? No, and I don't even, in the, well, wait.
We did see a small increase with the 26%. There was a small growth.
I don't know exactly what the balance was, but I know, you know, total fund balance did increase by almost $200,000 this year. And I'm thinking, the available fund balance probably increased at least 100,000 of that, if not more, or whatever, so.
Yeah, I know, we, had a meeting with the transportation department, and they was explaining to us how they were broke. And I'm like, it's sort of hypocritical, you know?
Yeah.
You know, they, you know, managing their own money, and then they wanna come down on us.
You know, and I will say this, our LGC, our state treasurer's office, is probably the best thing small towns have going for them in North Carolina, especially the LGC division or whatever, because I'm almost kind of shocked. I've had opportunity to talk to some towns in South Carolina where they don't have any oversight board like that. I mean, you know, because I'm asking, it's like, okay, well, who do you have to answer to? And they're like, nobody. We just do the audit or whatever. Okay, whatever. And like I said, these LGC's doing the best that they can to, even with the, you know, more limited staff that they have, to make sure that they identify if a town's getting in trouble, that they can be there to help them or whatever in those situations, or make suggestions. And I really do, like I said, this is, I think you'll see a whole lot more of this from DOT, I think you're gonna see major, okay, you know, give us your numbers or whatever, and let's let you plug in from a lot of state agencies and stuff.
Well, it was the EVs is causing their bankruptcy apparently. But we've heard good news from the EVs, right? We have all the lithium chloride that can make half the UV batteries for all the vehicles in the world. Here in this county, so that's a good thing. I don't know how we're gonna tap in on it, but.
Any questions? Anybody have?
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Eddie, thank you.
And I'll be in touch.
Sure, absolutely. Appreciate all your help. Thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda. Consideration, public works request of letter intent for a backhoe.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. And Mr. Harper's done an excellent job with preparing a quote under the Sourcewell pooling contract for a John Deere backhoe. As you all know, we have a very dated piece of equipment that has been an uphill battle to maintain. The equipment, and please, Mr. Harper, if I'm wrong, please jump in any time, but the piece of equipment is around 20 years old. It was bought, used at the time. We have had significant amounts of issues with it given the prior ice and snow that we had. The tractor backhoe was used on any number of projects ranging from water, sewer, roadways. Mr. Harper reached out to this particular dealer. They gave us a quote on a particular piece of equipment under the caveat that it would not be available if we spoke for it until October of 2022. So if the board was to be agreeable to consider purchasing this piece of equipment, no payment would be due until such time that it is delivered until we procure it in October of 2022. You have that quote before you tonight. You have a letter of intent that Mr. Harper and I worked on together that we sent to the agency that said that we were tentatively interested pending board approval. I believe this is a below market value price for a newer piece of equipment. So Public Works has made the recommendation that they would like to procure this piece of equipment. Mr. Harper, you have anything else?
Mayor, I did look out, your other dealers would have been CAT. CAT had the Sheriff's Association contract. Its contract price was about $8,000 more, and for less of a machine. This John Deere has a Sourcewell, and some time ago, Ranlo was on the Sourcewell contract, and still are. This tractor here is what the City of Gastonia has been using. I've used one. It's a John Deere 310, fully loaded with everything that John Deere can have for it, and you're getting it for almost $20,000 under market with the Sourcewell contract. The only other tractor that come close was a JCB, which is a less quality of a tractor, and it was right at $99,000. And this tractor here is JCB, and you can't find parts for them. Once you sell them, you're stuck with them. That's why nobody around here deals with JCBs. But for the price that you're getting, like I said, if a private contractor will go out and buy it, you're looking at $123,000 for this tractor. So the Sourcewell contract was a great deal for the town. And the backhoe that we are using, the transmission's about gone. You can't switch gears in it, and most of the bucket's laying in the parking lot in pieces.
Most of the what?
The bucket, front bucket.
Is that during the snowstorm?
Yeah, I believe it was in front of your house.
So, CJ, Ms. Harper, got a question. I know y'all said this would not be able to take delivery until October, is that correct?
That is correct.
Now my concern is to October, if we have a water leak, is that, in your assessment, is that backhoe that we have now is gonna be able to?
Right now, what we would have to use is our mini excavators. The mini excavators can perform water leaks. If you have your biggest snow and storm trouble come through, you gotta have the backhoe to help clean the debris out, because it'll take you, because I did it, when the backhoe broke in summer, I took the mini excavator and went all over town. And it takes you about an hour to go from the shop to your house.
Y'all don't pull it on a trailer?
You could, but in snow, it's not feasible.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My question is how you want to pay for this?
Sure, absolutely. Excellent question. As payment will not be due until October, the time we procure it, we can look at a number of funding options. Number one, we had budgeted in this fiscal year budget for projects that have now been funded under direct appropriations from the state. A portion of this cost could come under some of those unexpended funds. Also, I believe that some of the costs could be covered by some of our American Rescue Plan Act funding that we got. That's certainly an option to explore. We can also look at budgeting the remainder in the fiscal year 23 budget in our upcoming budget talk. So there's any number of ways that I believe we'll be able to fund the project. I believe it would be feasible to fund, and we do have the benefit of having the time to plan it out, to budget out, and determine the most appropriate way to move forward. But any number of options that we have on this particular project.
Okay, I reckon we need to take this to a vote. Have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the letter of intent.
We have a motion to approve the letter of intent. Do we have a second?
Trevor,
I
second.
believe Mr. Hayes seconded.
Oh, okay. All in favor? So carried. Is that an aye from you, Trevor?
He rose his hand. But that's-
Oh, really? All right. Next item on the agenda. Discussion of the organization and planning board and new appointments.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. As you all know, last month was our first official meeting of the Ranlo Planning Board. Mayor Black, Commissioner Fowler were there. We had a good meeting, good kickoff meeting. Throughout the course of the discussions, the option of adding additional members to the board was discussed. I know that there's been some interest from residents throughout the town that may have an interest in serving if we wanted to expand the size of the board. I think that we have a good group together. We are still unable to fill the ETJ seat. We continue to look, but with no luck so far. I just wanted to informally gauge the board. If you did have an appetite to discuss expanding the board, expanding the planning board, we actually have one of our members here tonight, Ms. Diana Palmer. And if so, we could move forward with getting official nominations for those seats, or if you would like to leave it as is, as a 5-member planning board with 2 alternates and 1 member, 4 members from the town limits, and then 1 from the ETJ area.
If we increase the size of the planning board, that will also increase the quorum, right?
It will, yes, ma'am.
I
Madam.
don't
But he said
necessarily see a reason to do that.
The voting would only be back down to the one original board, correct? There was.
It would be
one
split
of the
into 2.
Boards.
Planning board and the board of adjustments. Currently, our ordinance reads that the planning board also serves in the dual capacity as a board of adjustments. This would in turn increase the size of the planning board and then decrease the size for the board of adjustments with those 5 original members.
Okay. So you don't have an ETJ yet?
I do not. No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
We have a name for that.
Okay, wonderful. That would be very advantageous and helpful.
Do we have a list of names of people that would like to serve in capacity?
3 people have informally expressed interest in the position. So we do have people that would be willing to serve.
My concern is that with the camper board, towards the end there, we would have 1 to 2 people show up. And I don't want
One
to-
right here.
I don't want to, right, I remember you being at every meeting, I think. But I don't want us to raise the number of people that are required to be there when we had an 8-member camper board and 2 people should.
Sure.
I think that kind of puts us at a bit of a disadvantage.
It is troublesome for purposes of the quorum if the board was to be expanded.
Now, I don't mind personally having more alternates, but as far as expanding the number needed, I don't think it necessarily is a good thing.
So the motion?
No action is
No action is necessary if we're not going to change the makeup of the board. And if so, this would require an ordinance change as well, so that would have to be drafted, prepared, and brought to the board. And we can go forward with the consensus to leave as is if that's the wish of the board, unless there's objection.
Hey, Jonathan, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, Mr. Hay.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Katie. I'm okay with getting more alternates. If people can't make it, but increasing the number, yeah, does cause a problem with making quorum. So if we want to consider alternates, I'm okay with doing that. We don't have to do that at this meeting. But we could, take under consideration any nominations for who, if any other citizens want to join in on that. I'd be happy to look over some other nominations and appoint more alternates, just so that we can get at every meeting and people still have their voices heard. That's all I got to say.
Oh, thank you for your input. Thank you.
Would increasing the alternates require an ordinance change?
It would, as the ordinance currently reads, there are only, it's only ordained that there's 2 alternates for the board.
So you have to do that anyway.
As an
Or no
alternates,
Mhm.
have the alternates been named yet?
We have named alternates to the board. Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
So all we have is one
The ETJ. I believe that's correct. We have 4 of our members from town. The ETJ seat is vacant. And then we have, well, I believe we have, I know we have at least one alternate. There may be a vacant position for an alternate because there was some switch up at the last meeting because former Commissioner Lockley and former Commissioner Connor had revoked interest, and then there was some reorganization of that. I know that we have at least one alternate on the board.
Right.
Yeah, he
I
said
think
that.
we just fill whatever vacancies the ordinance provides.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Howard.
Okay. All right, is everybody clear on this? Ready to move on? All right. Next item on the agenda is proclamation honoring Black History Month. John?
Sure, Mr. Mayor. Before you tonight, the board has a proclamation recognizing Black History Month. This is similar to the proclamations that other municipalities have passed. Lowell passed one last month honoring Black History Month. I have one before you tonight to consider, so I would ask for a motion to adopt the proclamation honoring Black History.
Have a second? All in favor? He raised his hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Raise my hand over here.
All right. So carried. Next item on the agenda is awarding the contracts, Town of Ranlo Waste, water, roadway, and capital improvements, engineering, and technician services.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. If you will recall, at the last meeting, the board approved the request for qualification for these services. There was a deadline of February 7th to indicate interest in writing to the town. The announcement was posted on the town's website on January 14th and was also published in the Gaston Gazette on January 19th. The proposals were opened at 12 noon this past Monday here in Town Hall, and we received two proposals, one from Aesthetic Concepts PLC and one from the Wooten Company. I provided the board tonight the scoring criteria that was used to rate these proposals. There's also copies in full before you here tonight, and also that I submitted to you all electronically. The board will need to make a motion to award one of these contracts for the engineering and technical service, and that will move us into our next phase of going forward with managing our direct allocations, with bid preparations for the specific projects, and moving forward with advertising therein. This would essentially assign the responsibilities to one of these companies to oversee this, to be the bid announcement drafters, and to eventually oversee the duration and the finalization of the project.
Do we have a motion from the board?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion we stick with Wooten Company.
All right, do we have a second? I'll second. All in favor? So carried. Next item on the agenda is discussion of the lodge and recreation.
Yeah, yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Commissioner Morton had requested to add these items to the agenda for discussion. I would recommend that we table these motions until such time that Mr. Morton is present to address the issues.
So are we planning on any spring ball teams or anything? We don't have a recreation director yet?
We do not have a recreation director yet. We have discussed moving forward starting in May with the Milltown Nights, looking at that, and also with some Easter-related community activities and events. Those are on the docket and out for planning currently.
Okay. All right, other business. Town manager's report.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, Town Hall and Public Works will be closed on February 21st in observance of President's Day. Residential garbage delay will be on a one-day delay, so we certainly ask for everyone's patience as we get to everyone's garbage the week after next. Also, I've been working very hard with the State Capital Improvement Fund and the Department of Environmental Quality. Those are the two agencies that are going to be administering our direct appropriations from Raleigh. The water meters, the extension of the water lines, and some of the roadway projects are going to go through the Department of Environmental Quality. It's been a lengthy application process, but I did confirm last week with Raleigh that they have everything that they need from us for now to move forward with that particular pot of money from our direct allocations. Also, the State Capital Improvement Fund will be overseeing the rest of those allocations. I submitted a draft scope of work to their office, as well as an electronic vendor form, tax paperwork, everything that they needed on our behalf to get the ball rolling on that. Tentatively, they're saying towards the end of the month we may get our first installment in funds. That would certainly be a welcome sight to be able to get our hands on some of that, to be able to start developing plans and having the money cash in hand to move forward with these projects. So I'll certainly keep you all updated, but as I was told from Raleigh, we're in a good spot and where we need to be for this point in the application cycle. This is certainly an unprecedented amount of money that's going to many cities, towns, counties. So I feel that we are where we need to be in regards to these funds and being able to secure roughly $6.5 million in these direct allocations. Also, I do want to, as always, thank Public Works and the Police Department. It's been a very trying month with the numerous snowstorms that we've had. The police department's responded to 589 calls throughout the last month. Public Works Director Jason Green and Chief Jimmy Lunsford have done an excellent job keeping things going without fail. So we certainly appreciate their hard work efforts and everyone in Public Works and the Police Department. As a reminder, we will have our budget kickoff meeting on March 3rd here at Town Hall. That's when we'll take a preliminary overview of the capital project that the department heads have requested and then tentatively make arrangements to get a draft budget going. It will soon be upon us, and then we'll continue those discussions in March, April, leading up to the presentation and budget message in May. Lastly, I would like to recognize our new finance director. She began last week, Ms. Amanda Elzey. She has her master's degree in public administration. She has a decade of experience in business, finance, HR, and a slew of different experience at Augusta, Georgia. I look forward to having her here with us at our budget meetings and moving forward with her addition to us here with the town of Ranlo. As far as that is all I have, Mr. Mayor, unless you or the commissioners have anything for me.
I noticed at the last meeting, which I was not here due to circumstances, but y'all decided to use closed bids to sell the building at the intersection of Highway 7 and Spencer Mountain Road.
To solicit proposals. We were not bound by the proposals in the advertisement that we posted. It was made very clear that this was subject to the board approval. They could accept or deny all of them. It would simply invite an offer to see what we would be able to get to it. And after the conversation we had with the DOT, I think their plan was to expand on the opposite side of the road. So we're not bound by any of the bids that come through. We have not received any yet. It's been advertised in the Gazette. I've had a few informal inquiries on the property, but 5% of the bid would have to be deposited here at Town Hall in order to make it official, and they have until early March to make that to make a formal offer on the building, and I do have that on the March 3rd budget calendar for discussion and
All
review.
right, well, personally speaking, I feel like that's like the most important intersection in our town right now. And are we financially stressed of where we need to sell that property? Is that where we're at?
I wouldn't say we're financially stressed. We looked at the asbestos removal of the property, which was going to range between $20,000 to $25,000 to move forward with demolition. I spoke with multiple contractors about the possibility, feasibility of bringing the building down. I was not able to get a formal quote or proposal from any of them due to the close nature to the utility poles, due to the close proximity to the road, and of course the abutting property directly beside it. So I wouldn't say that it would be a matter of being financially stressed to sell the property, because I'm not sure what the offers will come in at. It would just be a matter of looking at what our options are to move forward with it. We certainly aren't bound by any of the offers that come through.
But there is a possibility that you could be selling, is that right?
That would be subject to the board's approval. The motion that was made last month was just to invite bids to see what it could possibly bring, if the board should be of mind to sell.
Okay. All right, that's all I have. Anything from the commissioners?
You guys hear me again?
Yes, sir, Commissioner Fowler. Hey.
Awesome. Well, me and Katie Cordell, we were both able to attend the meeting with the Central Iowa Regional Council earlier this week. We talked about a few things. We caucused with some other municipalities in our county. Spoke to some people from Lowell, Gastonia, Mechanicsville, Dallas, and some others. So we talked about a few things. A lot of it was looking to bring light rail into Gastonia, how it would affect local municipalities. Obviously, we spoke about the Catawba Crossing project, and just some others. So I just wanted to keep you guys updated with stuff we were discussing there, and we look forward to keeping in contact with the people at Central Iowa and
for public comment right now, and it's gonna add another way to get into Charlotte. Which if you've been on 85 in the morning heading toward Charlotte, it's not great. Or in the evening coming back. I believe Jonathan posted earlier today on the town's Facebook page where you can go and you can make your comment, in favor of or against, the Catawba crossing, but it's something that's, I think, badly needed.
Okay, any other comments from the commissioners?
And just to, I would like to bring attention to keep Commissioner Morton in our thoughts. He is having some medical illnesses that he's battling, so we certainly wish him well in a speedy recovery.
That's true, that's true. All right, if nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, adjourn.
Have a second. All in favor? So carried.
Thank you all so much.